the game season starts March 11th with the beginning of the Open. And Tommy and I thought it would be kind of fun today to do way too early predictions for the 2021 season. So we have zero data. We're just going in blind here. But we figured, why not just see how close we can get to the mark. We can revisit the show maybe in a few months and see how we did. But we wanted to make just some way too early predictions for the 2021 season. So I figured we could start with the Open. And who do you think, now I guess this would be just, I'm not talking about the quarterfinals or the semifinals, just the 3 weeks of the Open. Mm-hmm. Who wins for the men and the women? Now, obviously, Matt Fraser and Tia Toomey will be the easy choices. I could absolutely see that happening.
For the Open first.
Just the Open.
Just the Open.
Weeks, yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't think Tia is going to win the Open.
Yeah, I don't either. I think Matt will win for the men because I think he's very good at dialing in his training at the right time and peaking at the right time. Even if he doesn't, because now that you just got to get to 10%, I think a lot of elite athletes might just be like, I'm just going to coast and do it.
Yeah, there's a story. It's hilarious. I think it was 2017 when who was it that told us that like Matt was like
Pat. It was Pat.
It was Pat. Yeah. And he like all of a sudden he hears crap. And he's like, what? And I guess it was maybe Sammy or someone else that was with Fraser at the time. And he goes, I'm in first. And it's like, he like unknowingly and unintentionally won the Open worldwide.
Yeah.
Just from like his first go at things, which is absurd.
Yeah, I know. Darn it.
Oh, man.
I won the Open. So here's what I'm going to say. I think I'll pick for the men. I'll say Noah Olsen. Because I think he's a guy, after being a little disappointed at what happened in the live portion of the CrossFit Games, I think he's going to come out of the gate on fire. He wants to make an early statement. So I'm going to say for the men, Noah Olsen wins the Worldwide Open.
All right. Let me see. This is interesting. I'm going to say, like, the default is Matt, right?
Of course it is, yeah.
But I think beyond that, I think we'll see Bjorgvin Carl Gudmundsson win.
That's a really good prediction. I can get behind that.
He's finished second in 2019. He was, I think, third in, I don't know why Left Terrace hasn't been scratched from the leaderboard. Once Left Terrace is scratched out, he was third this past year. I think with the two guys in front of him, you look at Vellner's coming off an injury. We talked to him recently for the trials, and he's still working his way back from, and very smartly, as methodically as possible. And then Matt, too, I think is just taking some time because he knows, I mean, he cannot do anything in the gym for the next 3 months.
Matt could show up drunk to every workout and probably still win.
Exactly. Yeah. And he'll be fine, and he has plenty of time to dial in. He doesn't need to peak yet, so I'll say BKG.
Okay, so on the women's side, then I may use the same logic here and say Sarah Sigmundsdottir, because again, athlete with a lot to prove in 2021, and I think that for different athletes, the Open is going to mean different things. Again, a lot of them just 10%. I can do that. Let me just get in. But I think for her, starting off very well with a win in the Open is going to help build her confidence. And I think that she's looking at being like, I don't want to just qualify. I want to win. At least that's how I hope she's thinking. So I'm going to say Sarah Sigmundsdottir.
Yeah. So I would. We're going to have none of the same picks. All right.
Okay, good. Okay. All right. That we'll agree on that.
We'll agree on that. So Sarah would have been my pick.
Okay.
But the other one that I think is going to sneak up on people is Cara Saunders.
Yes, that would have been my other candidate. Okay, so I'm glad we're on the same page there. I feel smart when I'm aligned with you on that. Okay, that's a good one.
12th in the Open, just coming back from a baby is one of the most underrated performances that we've seen in a long time.
Okay, so here's another question, and I don't even know. This might need to be a joint prediction because you know a lot more about this than I do, but I might just kind of go easy with the same prediction. Who comeback athlete of the year? Who's the athlete who makes a huge comeback? Like, man, kind of forgot about that person, sort of wrote them off, but wow, what a season!
So do we want to clarify that they maybe made the games?
That's fine. Yeah, just someone who maybe had a disappointing season, but now you're like, nice job, you're back. And the early people, like I'll say Sarah Sigmundsdottir again, just because as a fan, I want her to do well. And I think the community wants her to do well.
Yeah.
So I'd throw her out there. I might.
Sarah is a like smart money, Sarah, because I just think that there's a chance for her to just like, it's got to hit. It's like going to the roulette table and having red hit 15 times in a row.
Yes.
You know black is going to come eventually. So it doesn't matter if you're down 15 already. You're going to keep betting black and it's going to hit at some point. Even if green hits, heavens to Betsy that green hits. We had a lot of gambling talk today. I think we'll see Laura Horvath.
You know what? That's a good one. I like
24th at this year's games. Never really quite found her stride. I think she's someone that ultimately is going to benefit from like the live competition type stuff. She's not like, I think she needs some of those events like we saw at the ranch. Like I think she would have smashed the ranch because there was so much running, so much like grit type stuff. I think Laura Horvath would have had a field day at the ranch. She's only 23, maybe going on 24 this season. She is someone that I think can continue to improve and if she gets a groove pitch.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good one. What about on the men's side?
Ooh,
I'll let you go so I don't steal any thunder.
Yeah, so I was thinking Fikowski because, but we don't know what the landscape will be like. I do think, assuming we don't know what the landscape will be, I'm gonna say Cole Sager.
Yeah, no, that was you know what, that was gonna be mine. So you have now. It's like what? I'll take the right square for the block, please. Yes. I think Cole for sure. I think, and then Fikowski was up there, and then even, and I don't know if you would consider him a comeback candidate because it's not like he had a bad year, but I would say Patrick Vellner. I would not be shocked if we now see him return to the top 5 of the CrossFit Games because I think a lot of people were surprised before they knew he was hurt with the groin injury that he had.
An interesting athlete that I think to keep your eye on, didn't make the games this year, but I think was a kind of a surprise in 2019 is Will Morad. So he was 10th in 2019. Obviously, he got injured. He's now part of the Proven Fitness group with Tia and Shane. He's in that Nashville. That's another training pod to keep your eye on. That Nashville pod with Brooke, with Alex Smith, with Morad. I think Street Horner's there. That could be something. I think he's someone that'll benefit from the bro sesh environment. And obviously the season got cut short, so we didn't get to see where he could have shaken out. But I think he might bounce back too.
Okay, what about, would you even, and this is another one, I don't even know if you would consider her making a comeback, but what about Amanda Barnhart?
So, I think she is going to be, she's moving up to New England. She's going to be with Ben and Kat and those people on a day-to-day basis. And I think she is someone... Yeah, I don't want to say too much soon.
And I don't know if I would consider her a comeback because it's not like she's off the radar.
Yeah, back-to-back 7th place finishes at the games. I think she's going to continue that climb.
Yeah, that's another athlete I would have loved to have seen at the ranch.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been good. Okay, we don't need to name all 10, but let's kind of give it a guess. And we've done this before, but let's give a guess where we think the 10 qualifying events will be held. Okay. And we'll use we'll pull from the 28 sanction events that were scheduled to take place last year, and then obviously didn't because of the whole pandemic. But I think, and I've said this before, the way it's going to break down is that you'll have 4 in North America, you'll have 2 in Europe, so that gives you 6, and that leaves the other 4 with 1 each.
Yeah.
I think that's how it's going to break down. That seems to be the most equitable way to do it based on open
Africa,
based
Australia,
on open participation. So with that being said, and then I also think that last chance qualifier will be in North America as well. So if you want to say they have 5, then that's fine too. So I think that
Europe's going to be tough.
Europe is going to be really tough, but I would probably, just knowing what I know about the events and about the settings, I wouldn't be surprised if it's strength and depth, and I would say maybe Reykjavik.
I think Filthy 150's got a good bid.
I think they do too.
Man, strength and depth seems like the biggest no-brainer.
Yeah,
because they're a two-year event. Ollie Mansbridge and his team have put on tons of events. They put on a great show both years. London is a central like hotspot in the Europe region. Obviously, the UK is still under lockdown, so that's going to be a question. But I don't think CrossFit is thinking about that in where they pick. I think it's like this. You're going to be one going forward, so eventually you have to plan for beyond that. The unfortunate part is like we didn't see what the German Throwdown could do as a sanctioned event. We've seen 1 year of Reykjavik. We've seen 1 year of the Filthy 150. We've seen 1 year of Norway. Norway was fun, but I think it's a good event. I think it should be CrossFit affiliated, but I think where they're at in what made them really cool also made them very niche and kind of quaint, if that makes sense, because they were like a distance away. If you're trying to, like the ski setup was amazing. Yeah. But I don't think it necessarily lends itself to the size and scale that CrossFit is trying to make these semifinal events. So
agreed.
That's not a knock on them whatsoever. I just think they're looking for something different.
Yeah. And the only reason I would think that maybe they would stay away from, and it's hard because I love both of these events, why they might stay away from having both the Filthy 150 and strength and depth is because they want to maybe put some on the mainland.
Yeah.
And that would then argue against Reykjavik as well. So maybe, and this is where, like Madrid, which is a Loud and Live event, might come into play as well. Because I think the biggest thing is going to be finding partners who have experience running an event, who are willing to welcome in CrossFit as a partner in that okay, you guys can handle the broadcast. We're going to do X amount. We understand the partnership here. They're willing to give up a little bit of control because you're obviously going to have to do that a little bit, I think, in order to partner with CrossFit because they're going to have some certain things that they want you to do. So I think those are probably your best candidates. Could be wrong.
Geographically, Germany makes sense.
Yep.
The Netherlands are another good option for lowlands. But those are kind of, it just depends.
And then when you go to...
that's tough.
Yeah, Europe's going to be a tough one. Australia, you had Down Under and you had the Australian CrossFit Championship, correct?
Yes.
So, flip a coin. So here's why
I think there's one over the other that is kind of the clear.
So let me give you my case for the Down Under one.
Yeah.
Just because it's in a setting in Wollongong where CrossFit has held past events, and I think
we're in agreement here.
Okay, good. That would be and I don't know much about either event. Haven't been to either one, but I think familiarity with the city and the venue and knowing what resources that you need to sort of call upon in order to hold the event, and CrossFit having a little bit of knowledge what that is, might play into their favor a little bit.
I think the Australian CrossFit Championship as an event is still in its infancy stages in terms of development, and in talking with athletes that have been there. I think that the Down Under event was more prepared to turnkey, become a semifinal event with broadcast and stuff like that, and which otherwise, like the Torian Pro was another big one down there that put together a good showing. But I think the Down Under one is. And like Mick Shaw and their crew, like if they've been involved for a long time as well, and that one seems pretty straightforward. Yeah,
and look, we're also assuming that all these events put in applications.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't know if that happened or not, so we're just going to make that assumption. So then we'll go to Asia, and that one I think you don't have a lot to choose from because both of the sanctioned events that took place in Asia were in China.
Yeah. Shanghai and Panda Land.
Yeah, and so did you go to both of those?
I went to both of those,
So I know they both put on great events.
Yeah. Panda Land was Panda Land was a little bit smaller in scale. They both of them weren't like huge. and I think both of them were. They both event organizers have put on events before. If I'm looking at I think Shanghai is an international city.
I was kind of thinking the same thing.
Makes a little bit different. It makes a little bit of a difference there, but it's funny. Like some of them, like the organizers from Shanghai competed in the Pandaland, and Eric, the organizer of Pandaland, was the MC for Shanghai. So I think it's possible they could join forces and maybe combine and just like work together.
Yeah. And again, you got to think about if these, if CrossFit is trying to put on a high level broadcast of these things, which city is easier to draw resources from? Where is it easier to get all this accomplished? And that I think is for sure going to play into their decision.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Shanghai is probably, and I could be wrong, but I think obviously Shanghai is one of the largest cities in the world. And it might be the largest city in the world. It just the resources there, I think, might be a little bit more robust.
So that would then bring us.
But then again, Chengdu is also like it's got like 8 million people.
Right.
So.
Yeah. It's not like it's exactly. So let's go to Africa, and I think that's pretty much going to be
LATAM.
Yeah. No, Africa would be the one in South Africa.
Yeah.
The fittest and fit in Cape Town. Because go ahead.
There's the LFit in Egypt, but I don't know if they would do that without having seen a product yet. And like Tian and the organizers there have South Africa has hosted a regional competition before. At the 2011 Africa Regional, that seems like a more. Yeah, it's just a more plug and play situation for them.
Yeah, and again, familiarity with South Africa as a city that has hosted a regional event in the past. So I think that one, assuming they applied to be in, is probably a good bet. So if you go to Latin America, then I think it's pretty safe to assume that it's going to be probably in Brazil.
Yeah.
The Brazil CrossFit Championship was in Sao Paulo, where CrossFit has held events in the past. Then you have
the Southfit crew put on a good show, but I think you just have to look at the impact that the Brazilian community has had. Brazil was the first country outside of the United States to break 1,000 affiliates.
Right.
The second largest affiliate population by country in the world, and Brazil is like Sao Paulo, and even if they move it to Rio, or I don't know if they'd move it to Rio, but it's just big cities. Using one of the Rio Olympic venues would be sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it might stay in.
But
Brazil.
I think given I remember when the final couple of years when we were at CrossFit, Brazil was a big focus of where they wanted to grow. It's one of the reasons we had an open announcement there. It's one of the reasons they put a regional competition back there.
Yeah, we got to call that open announcement.
Yeah,
that was
so
crazy.
Fun.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that was a really fun one. That felt like a regional competition too.
It did.
Man. Those fans were nuts. It was
the food was phenomenal.
Oh, so good. That acai dough.
Oh man,
like being slapped in the face with refreshment. Okay, so that would bring us into North America, and I have no idea here, but I think I would be surprised if when you get to that last chance qualifier that they don't go to, and again, assuming that Loud and Live would be interested in this, the West Coast Classic, because it's at a venue that has historically held some really great regionals at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. There's some great imagery from there. CrossFit knows the venue extremely well. It's very close to an area.
You said last chance qualifier.
The last chance qualifier would be held at the West Coast Classic.
Oh.
I think that would be a good venue for it.
Oh, okay.
Because I think that
I thought there would be a semifinal, but
possibly.
Yeah,
but I think that's.
I have an idea, by the way.
Okay, but I think that that's obviously one that people are going to want to host because it's going to have a lot of eyeballs on it. You're going to have an international crowd as far as athletes are concerned. You probably have some very big names there, some recognizable names. So I think that when it comes, that's clearly one that CrossFit is going to want to have broadcast at a level that we would think of like regionals.
Yeah.
So Southern California, close to where a lot of places where they pull their resources from as far as personnel and all that kind of stuff. Be very easy for them to set up. They understand the venue. They know what it takes to run an event there. So yeah, that would be my leader in the clubhouse right now. Could be wrong. They might want to put it. I just think if they put it overseas, it's going to be harder for them to maybe exert the amount of control. And I know that comes off of being like, no, we're going to tell you what to do. But just as far as the setup of the actual broadcast. So, okay, but you're smiling, so I want to know what your idea is here.
So
there's a bold prediction coming.
Yeah, so I think the last chance qualifier this year is going to be online. So that would be. I think ultimately, depending on what the situation is, that's what they might have to do, just because of the varying circumstances, which puts a damper on it potentially being at an event like the West Coast Classic if they were, say, to be a semifinal if they wanted to be a semifinal, which I think they could be, and they have I think they're as strong a case as any American event to do that. That being said, for the last chance qualifier, and this might be...
Oh, I know where you're going.
This might be like year 3, year 4. This is different than what I've said before.
Okay.
Yeah. So hear me out. So Dubai hosts a Triple Crown event in the off season, but in June, they host the last chance qualifier at Fight Island in Abu Dhabi from the UFC.
Okay.
So... Google the Fight Island complex. UFC has built from the ground up a venue which, if it's not in use, you're going to get some revenue back for using it. It's set up for international broadcast. It's set up for a world-class professional use facility, and it is in the same region as a partner that you could be working with going forward that also has a significant glitz and glam to it. And I think that people would be willing to travel to for this kind of pumped up circumstance. It's a little bit more centrally located globally. If you have people coming from Australia, from LATAM, and Fight Island, could you imagine
that Rick and Morty meme where he's like,
"You son of a bitch,
I'm in. Let's do it. All right, I will. That is a great idea, and I think you're right. You heard it. Yeah, Tommy Marquez. Give him credit. So that will bring us now into the next prediction is we're obviously assuming that everything's great and everything's going to go back to normal and we're going to be able to hold events in person. Probably not the case. So how many of the 10 do you think are actually going to be held in person? I'll set the over under at 6.
Ooh, I'm hammering the under.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah, I'm hammering the
I'd probably go under 2.
Okay, so in-person competition, we got to set some parameters here. Are we setting the in-person competition as they will have people on site, fans or no fans?
No, it doesn't matter. That there are people gathering, so as long as a competition takes place in the same physical space. We don't have to have fans. So that, I think, bumps the case up a little bit. That will help my over-under setting.
That makes it close.
Yeah.
Damn, you need to be a Vegas odds maker because... I think 6 might be a push.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think.
All right, 5.5.
5.5. There you go. Now you're getting it. No pushes, baby. Gosh, that's tough. I think.
You know what?
I'm gonna take the under, and I'm gonna say 5.
I'm gonna be an optimist and go over and say 6.
All right.
So we're not because we can't have the same prediction.
Yeah, that's a. I'm going against my own betting philosophy, Sean, because life's too short to bet the under. And
I like that.
But you know what? I'm going to take it here, and I will eat crow if more because. And this is saying I want to be wrong here. This is I want to lose this bet.
Yeah. So I'll be an optimist. I'm going to go. I think we're going to have at least 6 take place in person. So let's jump ahead to the games. You want to jump ahead to the games?
Yeah.
All right, who finishes on the podium for the men?
Okay, so here's a fun little stat for you.
Ooh, I like stats.
Since the Open, or since the era of the Open, since 2011, the Open era of CrossFit, as I refer to it, it's a decade. There have been 20 CrossFit Games podiums for individuals. Mm-hmm. Only 2 of those podiums have not featured an athlete, a first-time podium athlete.
Ooh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And I forgot that I had the number in my head, but I forgot it of how many were rookies as well. So rookie prevalence is pretty low, but you look at 2011, it's much more prevalent on the men's side, I believe. And the only time there was ever been a repeat podium was on the women's side. So that took up one of them. All three spots were identical. There's only been one athlete each, men and women, that have been able to repeat in the second spot.
Okay, yep.
It's Matt Fraser and Tia Toomey. They're the only people that have backed up a second place finish with the second place. The next in line spot, as I call it, is very hard to maintain.
Yes.
So that's painting my predictions here. The fact that we're going to get at least, and so that's for men and women. So it's only happened once each that there hasn't been a new person on the podium. So by statistical comparison, we will have a podium on men and women's side next year that has a entirely new person, a first-time podium finish.
Safe bet.
Lead pipe lock of the century of the week. Let's see. So for the men, assuming Matt Fraser competes, he will win.
Yes.
This is known.
This is the way.
I do think Patrick Vellner will get back there.
Okay.
And
we're going to hold you to this now.
With that in mind,
so you're putting Vellner in second.
I don't know yet.
Okay. You're just coming up with another name.
Yeah.
All right, I better get a leaderboard up here.
There's not a lot of options here.
No, it's tough.
A lot of these people have already podiumed now.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're kind of getting to the point of the sport where we've found all the elite competitors, and the first time person getting in, I think is going to become a little more rare. And I think like the format of this last season may have helped perpetuate that for another year.
Yeah. You know what? Okay. Screw it. I'm going Chandler Smith.
There you go. That's what I like to hear. That's a good prediction. I think that's a really good prediction. So it's going to be Fraser, Vellner, and Chandler Smith.
Yep.
Love it.
6th place. He's a rising star. He is going to have an entirely new training environment that's dedicated to performing at the games. And, I mean, he was so close before that, yeah.
Okay.
I think he has, and more importantly, so you have Quant Medeiros who already made it, and statistics show that at least one of them will not be on the podium next year. But you look at Adler's 26, Smith is 27, and I feel like as far as like dedicated CrossFit training is concerned, Chandler is one of the youngest, just because he has always had his military profession. So, yeah, that's where I'm going.
All right. So I'm going to, Fraser, obviously, I'm going to say he's going to win. Oh, man. I love so you have Smith in third or second?
I'm going to have him in third. I think Vellner's going to come back in a big way.
And I'll put him in second.
Oh!
I'm going big here.
Yeah.
I'm going to put Chandler Smith in second. No pressure, Chandler. And then third place, I kind of want to go big. I don't know, man. It's hard. Okay. Okay. Here's one for you. You want to talk about way too early predictions?
Ooh.
In third place,
I think I know who you're
for
going.
the first time ever, Scott Panchik.
Oh, I did not see that. Oh, that's fantastic.
No idea what he's going to do competitively, but I'm going to put him on he's been just jammed over by karma so much now, and just the changes that he just cannot. I think this is the year he's like, you know what? I'm going back to individual. I am going to get on the podium, and I think this is Scott Panchik's year.
Yeah.
Dad strength on the podium. I don't even know if he's competing, but I'm going to make that prediction right here.
One dark horse pick.
Ooh,
guys.
That would That would.
I know. I have mine.
You know who my dark horse is? Is Sam Quant.
Oh, okay. As of this, he's got a silver medal around his neck, and everyone still thinks
exactly. So I will qualify him as a dark horse because I think people look at that and be like, oh, well, that was the format. I don't think so.
Yeah. So. I have another Samuel Cornier.
That's a good one.
10th place last year.
Like that.
I think he's 24.
Ooh. Okay.
He's a rig shaker. 205.
There you go.
Yeah.
Who's the big? Is Fikowski the biggest guy to ever stand on the podium?
The tallest. Yes.
Tallest.
Yeah.
Would Hackenbrook be the biggest?
Ooh, I don't know.
That's just a guess.
Fikowski was like about 210, 215 at his heaviest.
About 250.
About 250. Maybe Hack in 2009 was still like post Utah football days. He might Hacksaw might
have pop.
Yeah, might have been bucking a pop. Oh, actually, Big Steve Willis, Commando Steve. How big was he? I'm trying to think. So there were some guys that were pretty Haas-like back in the day.
Well, so let's go to the women's side now.
Oh, Kalipo's pretty heavy too.
That's a good point. Yeah, he was big. All right, women's side. I'll go first.
Okay.
So I think Tia Toomey's going to win again. Mm-hmm. I think in second, so here comes my big prediction, Amanda Barnhart.
Ooh.
I'm the big believer. I'm on the Amanda Barnhart train. And then I think in third, it's Cara Saunders. So those are my three. I'm just going to way too early that one out there. So
okay, so I am going to go
top that, Tom.
So yeah, that was good. Oh. Damn. So I'm going to go Tia Toomey. It's funny. That's why I didn't speak earlier. I think Amanda Barnhart's going to podium too.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have put Tia Toomey.
You can put her in second if you want.
I'm going to put Haley Adams in second.
Oh, I didn't see. I forgot about it.
And I'm going to put Amanda Barnhart in third.
I want to redo mine.
And I'm going to put Brooke Wells in fourth.
Oh, you're going now beyond it. So you're just showing off at this point.
Katrin Davis-Daughter in fifth because I think Katrin keeps the streak alive.
Okay, I will. Maybe. Then I'm going to put Haley Adams in fourth, knocking on third's door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, that could be like her moment, her like Jordan moment, where like back-to-back years she just comes up shy of the podium and then she goes on a tear.
I'm going to tell you this right now. Like, I will not make the same mistake that I made last year. I will not overlook her again, like I just did now. So now I'm making that. She might have to be in the League of Shadows along with Kristen Holter.
Yeah.
And that whole crew.
That's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah. Okay. So that's good. All right. So our next one. Here's just like just a yes or no question and maybe a little bit of reasoning behind it. When we look at the team competition, no idea what that's going to look like, but will Mayhem win it?
Yes.
Okay. Who then rounds out that? You know a lot more about this than I do.
We need to. I was talking with Ro the other day, and he wants to set up an interview with Rich about the team stuff. So hopefully that'll be in the works soon. But I just the amount of talent just walking through the halls at Mayhem on a regular basis is just absurd. The thing is, like they were the best before and like during this new era and before too. So it's not like you can't say that, oh well, I don't know how they're going to adjust. Well, they adjusted by winning the Affiliate Cup in 2015 and 2016, and it took a Wasatch CrossFit team in 2017 that was like handpicked from the old Hacks Pack team and new athletes coming in. That team is all nowhere even close to being at that level anymore because they've all gone their separate ways. I just don't. Yeah, I don't know how.
Let me throw something at you. See, and I want to. This is just. I'm going to put my fan hat on and wishful think here.
Yep.
What do you think the odds are of them grabbing Haley Adams for a season? I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen either.
But it just popped into my head about a possible candidate.
That's one of those ones that I think you just can't. After she finishes fourth at the games, that would be criminal to rob her of that. To rob her of a chance to go at a podium again.
The flip side of that would be like she still has so much of her career ahead of her.
Yeah, it's true. Gosh, she's so young. I can see a situation where if her school demands are very high and she wants to be able to compete but not necessarily have the pressure of the individual competition, I can see that happening maybe then with the understanding like, hey, let's actually get you on the podium because you will be on the podium with us and get you that feeling again, like recapture that feeling from the teenage division and then maybe go, but
unlikely,
yeah. And there's some information that I think will come to light soon as to why.
Okay.
Not necessarily with her, but with some people that I think could end up on that roster.
Ah, okay. I like that.
Keep my ear to the streets, Sean.
I know you. That's why I asked you that question, is because I knew you would have better insight than anybody that I know. So it just popped into my head, and I'm like, how do they want to make a statement and really go and dominate again? Be like, hey, you thought you could take this away from us? Well, look who we have now.
Oh man.
And Rory McKernan rounded out the roster.
I think he commented at one point. He was like, "Oh, it was in our live stream, right?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "But yeah, oh man."
All right, so then we'll end on this one.
Yep.
What will the craziest thing be that's going to happen this year? What's the craziest thing that's going to happen in the CrossFit Games season? Because I don't know how we topped last year, but what do you think a crazy thing that's going to happen?
I would have said there's a potential that either Matt or Tia doesn't compete. That would have been my craziest thing. I just don't know if that's the case or not. Mm-hmm. Obviously, with Tia making a run at the bobsled, if the Tokyo Olympics are looking, we don't know. Oh, it's not even the Tokyo Olympics. It would be the following year. Scratch that. Sorry, my brain's not working at this point. Crazy thing.
I don't know. I threw that one out there. If we could just think of something that would be weird. And I mean, I could see a crazy thing. Maybe Mayhem doesn't finish on the podium. That would be crazy. Doubtful. Maybe someone other than Matt and Tia doesn't win the games. That would be crazy.
I think a lot of people are expecting, and this isn't anything obviously to do with her fitness level. I think people are expecting Annie to be back, and I don't know if she's going to be 100% back yet. Okay. So we might not see Annie at the games for a second year.
What if we change it to this? Let's just make a bold prediction. What would you say? Like this would not shock me if this were to happen. As opposed to going like crazy, let's just say, here's my bold prediction for 2021. Let's do that instead. Ooh. I think that opens the door, makes it a little easier.
Oh man.
And I don't know what mine would be. My bold prediction would be that, I guess that Chandler Smith winds up on the podium. I don't know how bold that is given the trajectory that he has had the past couple of years. But I would make that statement right now. And
I would have said I almost kind of want to make like a bold open announcement or open registration prediction.
Ooh, okay, let's do that. I like that. Okay.
Like what? Oh yeah, let's.
You want to set an over/under on that?
Price is Right style.
Oh, okay. All right. I like that. Let's do that. Okay. So we have, what was it this past year?
It was 260-ish.
Okay. And at its height, it was what, like 428 in there?
Height was 419. I think give or take about 425 with some lingers that technically didn't count.
Okay.
2020 CrossFit Open, 239,106.
Okay. I'm going to say, oh man, I think they get to 310,000. That's my open registration prediction. Is this closest to without going over? So you can say, I'm going to say 310,001.
I think they break 4.
Are you serious? Yeah. Really? Okay. All right. I
think they break 4.
I hope you win this one because I would love to see that.
I wanted to throw out that they double registration from 2020.
That's a bold
prediction. Which would be 480, but that would blow everything out of the water from the last couple of years. I want to say the total unique participants from the last 2 opens is somewhere in the 450 range, I think, which means that it's possible that they could get there to 450, but that wouldn't be there's a difference between 450 and 480 at this point.
All right.
So I think 400. I think 4 bills and change.
I'm going to amend mine I don't think they're going to break 400, but I could see like 350.
350?
Yeah. I could see, because I think there's still people out there who are like I'm going to wait and see what this all looks like. And once we get a season under our belt where it's oh yeah, that's what I wanted to see, and that's what I remembered, and I want to be part of that next year. And again, people can always sign up like 1 week in and still do it. But I would not be shocked if it's like, okay, we're going to see a nice big increase again this year, and then once everybody sees everything that's rolled out, then it's like, damn it, you son of a bitch, I'm in. And it's like, bam, like that's, and it's let's get going. So I think that 400 is about a year away, but I think they might get close to it. And I hope that you're right and I'm wrong.
I was thinking about like what you said about getting a year under the belt, everybody realizing it's like, I had a scene pop in my head because I haven't made a Marvel reference in a while.
Yeah, let's get on that.
It's when the Guardians of the Galaxy and when like they get busted out from like shackles and Rocket gets one of the guns in his hand and he just goes, oh yeah. You're like that, just like hedonistic pleasure of like, I'm about to do what I want to do kind of situation. But yeah,
I still think there's some people out there who's like, I'm going to wait and see what this is all about. So
I'm signing up. I'm 35 to 39. I'm going to see if I can make the top.
You are going to make the qualifier.
Top 10%.
That's my bold prediction. Tommy Marquez is going to be in the age group online qualifier for the 35 to 39-year-olds.
A lot more people sign up, so that means it boosts the 10 relative 10%, so I have a chance.
You're going to have a chance. Okay, that was fun. Those are our way too early predictions.
It all ends up being a selfish prediction for myself to make the qual. It's like Cartman only wants to get stem cells approved so he can create his own Shakey's pizza. It's like the worst thing ever.
It doesn't matter. So those are our way too early predictions for 2021.